Welcome to Sunday Springboard with Melanie and Kimberlyn Coaching, where we help women become confident and thrive after toxic relationships. Have you heard the story of the emperor's new clothes? This is an old one, but I bet you remember it. There was this emperor who was just so vain. All he cared about was his clothes and looking fancy and looking awesome and wonderful. And he didn't really care about his kingdom. He didn't care about the people. All he cared about was how he looked to people. And so when he went out in the community, all he cared about was showing off his fancy new duds. He was just totally enthralled and obsessed with his clothes. One day, these two swindlers came to town and they talked to him about this magic cloth that they were able to weave, and they could make him a wonderful new suit with this magical cloth. And what was so special about this cloth was that the only people who could see it were people who were smart and intelligent and just really special. Just everyday, ordinary people who weren't that smart, they could not see this material. And the emperor thought, hey, that's great and wonderful. I can kind of check and see who among my staff and my people are smart and intelligent and who aren't. So he pays them this money and they're weaving the cloth. And day after day, it takes them a long time to weave this magical cloth. And one day he goes to check on them and see the process and their progress. And they show him and they say, oh, look at these, aren't these colors beautiful, and the textures and the patterns? What do you think? Is this amazing and wonderful? Well, he saw nothing, but he thought, oh my word, I can't admit that I don't see anything, because then that would say that I'm not special and smart and intelligent. So he just went along with them. Oh yeah, it's beautiful, it's great. Okay, keep on working, gives them some more money, and they keep working. Finally, the special day comes and they start to get ready to put on his new suit. And they tell him, this magical cloth is so light and airy, you may feel like you don't have anything on at all. He said, okay, so he puts it on, and they're right. He doesn't feel like he has anything on at all, but he looks in the mirror and he looks like he has no clothes on, but he's like, oh, I can't admit this. This will mean that I'm not smart and intelligent and awesome and wonderful. So he continues on with it. He walks through town and the people are looking, and he's parading through the king, and the people are looking and they're like, he has any clothes on, but they won't say anything, because this will mean that they're not special smart people. Well, hang on. One time, finally, a little child says, the emperor has no clothes on. And one of the other little children says, the emperor has no clothes on. And all the people are like, oh my word, the emperor has no clothes on. And the emperor looks at himself and he realizes that he has no clothes on. But you know what? He could not admit this, because what this meant was that he had been fooled by the swindlers, or he was not smart and intelligent. And so he just continued on through town and acted like he had clothes on. He had a reason to believe these lies that the swindlers told him. We often believe lies for different reasons. Today, we want to talk about the myths about abusive men or women that we can believe that will keep us stuck in relationships. We're going to look at 17 of them, so we're going to divide this into 3 different days. And I want to talk to you about where I got these. This book here is called Why Does He Do That? Into the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men. And we understand there are some women who are narcissists and who are abusive, but it is the great majority of men. So when I say man, you know, if you have an abusive wife or someone, mother, or someone who's a woman, know that I'm not leaving them out, but just for the most part, it's men. So I'm going to basically say man. So this book is by Lundy Bancroft. When I went through my divorce from my first husband, who was a narcissist, though I didn't realize it at first, I felt bad. I felt like, was I being too sensitive? Was I exaggerating things? Maybe things weren't as bad as I thought they were. Because sometimes he would do some nice things. I'm like, oh, maybe he's not as bad as I thought he was. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe, I would just second guess myself and I would feel guilty and I would feel bad. I came upon this book and read it and I was just amazed. This man, it felt like he lived in my closet. He explained things so well. He seemed to know my husband and describe him so well. And it helped me so much to come to a point of peace and understanding of what the situation had been like and what I had been dealing with. And so what I want to help you do is I want you to learn how to discern the truth of your situation. You may change, you may get out of your situation, you may feel better about a situation that you're already out of, you may feel better about a situation that you did not choose to be out of, but you are, or you may choose to stay in the situation. But when you have knowledge, you have understanding, you can react in a different way so that you can have peace in your soul as you continue on your way. So let's start with it. We're going to do 7 of them today. And here we go. So the first one is, he abuses because he was abused as a child, and he needs therapy for this. Now, maybe he was abused as a child, but if that was the cause of him being abusive also, then abusers could overcome this by going through psychotherapy. However, it is virtually unheard of for any abusive men to obtain substantial and lasting changes by going through psychotherapy. Now, Lundy Bancroft has an abuser program that helps somewhat if an abuser is so upset that he's losing his whole world, he might be willing to change. I think these are basically people that are on the low spectrum of narcissism, but even that is difficult and it doesn't help many people. But though that's really the best chance that someone would have. But just a regular therapy program actually sometimes enables the abuser to keep on abusing, because therapy often is trying to help you feel better about yourself. So your abuser is only going to want to draw attention to his abuse if this is an excuse for his behavior, not if this is something that he needs to do any work to change anything. Okay, maybe he's abusive because he feels so strongly about me. Now this will often happen. Maybe the abusive man, the narcissist, is maybe he's very jealous. Maybe he wants to know where you are at every minute of every day. And he's going to say this is because he loves you so much. He cares about you so much. And if you say something about then why are you hurting me? He's like, you hurt the ones you love the most. If I didn't love you so deeply and care about you so much, I wouldn't care and this wouldn't be bothering me. He wants you to believe that feelings cause actions. Well, our feelings can influence our actions, but we get to choose what we're going to do. And this basically happens because of our beliefs and our habits. If I feel mad at someone, but my belief is that I'm not going to try to hurt someone no matter what, then that's going to change the way I behave no matter how I'm feeling. If they don't believe that it matters whether they hurt you or not, then that belief is going to keep them in an abusive situation if they're not getting what they want. So some people, most people actually, reserve their best treatment for their family, for their loved ones. Are we going to believe that those people don't love as much as an abuser who's saying that he's loving you, he's abusing you because he loves you so much? It's nonsense. Okay, here's another one. It's just his personality. He has this violent, explosive personality. He just needs to learn to be less aggressive. Now, if you think about this, the great majority of abusive men are fairly calm and reasonable when they're dealing with other people, when they're not dealing with you. In fact, many of the people who are the abusers will say, how come he can be so nice to everyone else and treat me like dirt? This is part of the problem of why sometimes your friends and family don't believe you when you tell them what's going on in your home. They're like, well, he just seems so nice. I've never seen him get violent or abusive, because he can control this. When he does not want to do it, he doesn't. The next few kind of go along with it. This one is, he just loses control of himself, and he just goes wild. Again, an abuser always, almost never does something that goes against his moral values, what he considers morally unacceptable. Now, he may hide what he's doing because he knows that other people don't find this acceptable, but for whatever he's doing, he is generally justifying something. He finds some way to justify what he is doing, that it is okay. He's not just going crazy and going wild. So an abuser's core problem is that he has a distorted sense of right and wrong. Abuser's problem lies in the belief that he is above rules, he is above laws, he is above the things that the structures that reign in the world. He is above that. He does not need to follow that, and he believes that it is okay to abuse his partner if that's what he needs to do to get what he wants. Get what he wants. This one goes along with the same thing. He's too angry. He just needs to learn anger management skills. Again, they do what they want to do. They don't put this anger on other people. They mainly put it on you and maybe your children. Now, this is interesting. Mr. Bancroft has this philosophy that's a little different than some people. So some people say they abuse because they're angry. He says that attitude they have, the attitude of abuse, the attitude that it's okay, this is what makes them angry. Their attitude makes them furious. So their attitude is that entitlement, right? Other people need to be taking care of me. I need to be getting what I want. I need to be appreciated more. I need to be having more people take care of me. And that attitude makes them angry, and that attitude also makes them abusive. So it's the attitude of abuse that makes them angry. It's not that they abuse because they're angry. I think that is a really interesting philosophy. If you're dealing with someone who is angry like that, maybe watch and see, are they acting like this? Or do you think that this concept applies to them or not? I'd like to hear what you say. And then the last one for today is that he just holds his feelings in too much, and he doesn't process them, and he doesn't feel them. He needs to be able to get in touch with them because he holds them in so much, and then they build up and they just burst out, and he just bursts out in anger. Well, Mr. Bancroft says that his clients are not out of touch with their emotions. The emotions that they're out of touch with are their partners, their children's, other people. We know that narcissists, for the most part, do not have any empathy, or if they have any, it's just minimal. So he says that most of his clients are not, I'm clicking too. Most of his clients are not unusually repressed, and their emotions, their feelings are just as likely to be too big as to be too small. So when they are feeling their feelings, when they walk into a room, they can just kind of take over the room. And whatever my ex would be like, if he came in a room, if he was feeling great and happy, everyone was feeling great and happy. If he was feeling not happy, then nobody was happy. That he just, sometimes they're just larger than life, and they have that charisma to take up the room. So they can fill the whole house, and when they're not feeling good, they're not getting whatever it is they need, they feel like everyone else needs to stop what they're doing and come and be with them and help them and comfort them and appreciate them, whatever it is they're needing. Everyone else needs to come give them all the things they need. So this is not a matter of he abuses because he's kept his feelings in and now he can't feel them. It's just that he thinks other people need to make him feel better. All right, those are the ones for today. So what I would like for you to think about in the next week is, number one, in your relationship through this week, find out, where are you believing these kind of lies? Where are you making these kind of excuses for your partner or your coworker or your boss or your family member, whoever it is in your life that is abusive or toxic or narcissist, and where are you making up excuses because of these myths that you've been believing? And then the other thing that I want you to do is think about what would change if you stopped believing them. How would you react differently in your relationship? Now, discerning this kind of stuff is kind of hard to do on your own, in your own head. This is a great chance for a coach to help you. I would love to get a chance to help you with this. If you would like to talk it over with me, there's a link in the show notes where you can schedule a session, a free coaching session, and we can talk about whether coaching would be helpful for you and whether we would be a good fit. Also, if you've missed the past videos and you want to watch any of them, you can find them on my YouTube channel. That link is also in the show notes. And meanwhile, I hope you have a great week full of discernment and truth. Have a great day.